Years, my wife by the and Sister Hanna. And there's questions in your kingdom ministry, we'll see how they comment on these. The first one is ask Brother or Sister Schaber, what was it that first interested you in the truth?
Well, we were married about 4 years, and our 5 years, our son was about 3 or 4 years old. We used to always go over to Grandma and Grandpa's house. They lived on New Orleans, and we lived in Seminole Heights also. Well, then we didn't have television. We didn't have all the entertainment that we have today. And we would sit on the porch. And Grandpa was familiar with the truth. His father had been in the truth. He knew about it. And that was the topic of conversation when we sat on the porch. And he mentioned so many doctrines that the church didn't teach, and so many things that went over our head completely. But he did mention about the earth being a paradise. And I think that's what really, really made me interested, because I'd always been used to growing things. I was raised on a farm. And this just really appealed to me. So it really was the beautiful earth, the picture of that I think drew me.
All right, then you wanted to hear more. What challenges did you have to face or to overcome to become one of Jehovah's people?
We did not have to think about that when I looked at this part, because I thought, well, I really didn't have any challenges, because we accepted the truth at the same time. Of course, your father had brought us to the truth, or introduced us to the truth, and my family, none were interested, but at the same time, there's no opposition. So we think of persecution, and I thought, well, I didn't really have any challenges, but I did have one. At the time I was baptized, I continued to smoke. I smoked cigarettes. And I didn't quit before I was baptized. At that time, we didn't have the instructions that they have now. As unbaptized publishers, you didn't have to qualify. You got ready to be baptized, you dedicated yourself, and you put it on a dotted line, and then you went and baptized. So I lived with that for a while, and I tried to hide it, and I was always, I was secretive about it. And actually, I think about it, I was living a double life. So that was a real challenge for me. And it didn't take me too long, but I was smoking when I was baptized. And that took a lot of work on my part, because I quit and I start. I quit and I start. But I finally gave it up. And I'm really glad I did, because in 1972, the society came out in the Watchtower, and it became a disfellowshipping offense, because it was a defilement of the flesh.
So that you always have to overcome something, because serving Jehovah doesn't come easy initially, does it? Now, what impressed you the first time you attended a congregation meeting? Now you study, now you go to the meeting.
Well, I think the first thing that I noticed was there was no collection plate, because I had never been in a church that wasn't one of the first things that they did. And they used the Bible, which I wasn't accustomed to that. But that was, and of course the atmosphere was just different. And I think that was what really impressed me the first meeting that I went to.
Well, here's another question. What do you remember about the first time you shared in the field ministry?
Well, I remember where it was. Most of us know about Sulphur Springs. It's been in the news that they're trying to rebuild Sulphur Springs. Well, at that time, Sulphur Springs was a thriving community. They had the beautiful pool. You know, it was a swimming pool. The kids could take the families there. They had a theater. They had an arcade. And that was where I did my first public witnessing, was in Sulphur Springs. And it was with the magazines. And then we had, you know, the thing with the Watchtower on it that introduced the basic to the people as they walked by.
So that was we call it street work?
Yeah.
That's what we call it, right.
Yeah.
Now, another question here is interesting. How did others in the congregation help you make spiritual progress?
Well, you know, over the years, that has been such a gradual thing. And, you know, it's hard for me to remember back 60 years. You know, just in the congregation, just who it was that helped me with this. Although the sister that I went with in the magazine work in Sulphur Springs, then I thought she was old. She was about 60 years old. And she really helped me a lot. She was always there. And I think she comes to mind, but like I say, the whole congregation was just wonderful.
Well, thank you, Sister Shelver. Now we have one that is newly baptized. In fact, Sister Hannah, when were you baptized?
February 22nd.
So, now these same questions you'll have. So what was it that interested you in the truth?
Well, my children had grown up and, life was a little difficult. And I said, I know there has to be more to life than what we're living. I know there has to be, but I didn't have the answer to that. So the sister who had been coming to my house, she showed me in the Bible Teach book and, a scripture about the paradise that Jehovah's promised us, an everlasting life. And that was just really, for me, that was really the big thing, that I could possibly see my family again, and, that was it for me.
Well, that's good, Sister Hannah. Now, what challenge did you have to overcome?
Smoking. I smoked for 47 years, and I never had thought about quitting. I thought I would smoke always.
Yeah.
But when I walked through the doors of the Kingdom Hall, and I knew I would be back, I knew I had to quit. And it just was a process. And then I quit. I put it in Jehovah's hands, and I quit. Matter of fact, this month is going to be a year.
Oh, isn't that great? Oh, thank you, Sister Hannah. Now, what impression did you have the first time you attended the congregation meeting, though?
Oh, how warm and friendly, really, the whole congregation is. I mean, you can barely get to the door and somebody's greeting you. And just the love and the joy that you feel here. It's like escaping from the world. You just feel safe here.
That's true. Now, what did you remember about the first time you went in the field ministry? You don't have to remember as far back as my wife.
No, I don't. I remember that such joy and happiness, because I'm going to be honest, I was really dragging my heels about going out in service. I'm thinking, oh, I can't sleep in Saturday morning. I have to get up. But I loved it so much the first time I went out. So, I mean, I was really rewarded for going.
More than ever, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Without
It's
question.
not burdensome either.
That's true. Now, how did others in the congregation help you to make spiritual progress that you have, Sister Hannah?
The sister who was coming to my house, she came for a lot of years. She didn't give up on me. She never gave up on me. She was faithful every month. Twice a month. Some months she was there every week. She just never gave up on me.
Well, that's good. Now,
And in the congregation here, everybody's very, very willing to help you with anything, and they're very loving and warm, and it's a great congregation.
it's a good family to be a part of.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Well, we certainly thank you, sisters, for your comments. It's